Hey, are you tired of getting caught off guard by your triggers, guys? So am I. It's like one of the number one things I work on. That one person that manages to say that one thing that just sends you around the corner every single time. Well, today I am going to give you 3 ways that you can turn your back on your triggers. And then also later on, I'm going to tell you what works for me because it's at the very top of my list in terms of development and self love. So, okay, here we go. Let's get into it. The first thing that you definitely want to do is figure out what your triggers are. What are they? And in order for you to do that, just dial back and think about the people that tend to say that one thing to get under your skin or what tends to really get you upset. Some of these things happen and they happen over and over and over again. A lot of times it's with family and you can't get away from them. So it's like an injury and a re injury over and over and over again. At every holiday function, you have to identify what your triggers are. Okay. Is it the usual suspect? Is it a particular event? Is it something that happened around a certain holiday? Figure out what your triggers are because only by identifying your triggers are you able to address them and move forward. So that's the first step, just figuring out what they are. The second step is where does it take you? I actually get so mad at myself, I'm going to tell you, because my particular triggers, when it happens, I always respond the same way. Always. I get upset and then I ruminate on it a little bit and it's like a vicious cycle. And, I'm like, why did I fall for it again? Why is it still upsetting me? It's like a broken record. So at first I start off when I'm triggered by someone or something and I'm upset and angry. And then I become very disappointed because my reaction was the same this time as it was last time. It's never ending. So it actually is something that you have to take a close look at. So only then can you react differently. When you realize that, oh, when this happens, I always get upset and I say something I shouldn't say. Can you choose a different response? So that's very important. And the third thing that you can do once you've identified it, once you realize the behavior or the reaction that you generally exhibit when it happens, you can try to reframe it. So one of my biggest things that I try to do when I'm triggered, I'll give you an example. Let's say you go to a holiday gathering and you have a relative that always seems to make a not so nice comment and undermine all the progress that you made, let's say, with your business. Well, instead of icing her out or, saying some things to her to get back at her, you can actually reframe it and react differently and realize where it's coming from. That person's probably projecting that not only is it just her perspective, but it doesn't make it so that, you have your own life and your own confidence and your business is doing great. You can reframe it. Look at the source. Look where it came from. That person may not be in your corner. And if they're not in your corner today, they won't be in your corner tomorrow. So why take what they say seriously? These are some of the things that you can do because you will be surprised how the same setup happens, the same person, the same situation, and we tend to respond exactly the same. But by reframing things and reacting differently, you can actually empower yourself to move past the trigger. Now, what goes hand in hand with that is letting it go. Once you move past that trigger and reframe it and let her have her comment over the holidays and just don't respond, let it go. It's not real. It's not valid. It doesn't really matter. React differently. And you can let it go by limiting contact with that person and giving it time. Just stay in your own lane and let them do them. That's actually a big goal of mine, the reframing. I work on it all the time because some of the triggers I've had since I think childhood. And I'm really interested in growing as a person, as you all are, and I want to get past it. So it doesn't matter. I once read a quote in a book and it said, everything can't pierce nourish your soul. And that is so true. There's so much going on in life these days. We can't let everything like take us down and trigger us. So we really have to, pick and choose what we let in and how we let it affect us. Instead of letting our triggers handle us, that's called handling our triggers. And it's what I work on every day. So there are 3 action steps for you that I actively am using. So here is my version of what I'm working on that hopefully can help you as well. Number 1, figure out your triggers. For so long, I didn't know why I would get upset until I started breaking everything apart and really figuring things out. Figure out your triggers. And number 2, definitely practice a different response. So maybe it looks like this. The next time I see that person at a family gathering and they diminish me, I will say this and move the conversation along. I will not respond in the way that I have always responded, which in turn makes me feel horrible because that person has gotten under my skin at the end. Practice responding differently. Commit to responding differently so that you don't have to feel horrible when it's all said and done. And number 3, give yourself some time to heal. We are all human. We all have our hangups. We all have our struggles. We all have our triggers. But give yourself time. It's not going to happen overnight because you probably had these triggers forever. So take the time and work through your triggers. Once you figure out what they are and choose to respond differently, you're already on the path to self-love and healing. So give yourself some grace and walk into that holiday gathering with your head in the air because you are deserving and you are everything. And on that note, drop me a comment, and if you love it, share it. All right, guys, meet me right back here next week. And don't forget to hit that follow button and leave a review. And tell all your friends because the single girls just got the mic.